Very, very apparent in the city of Milwaukee, and I would like to introduce Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, who has led the way, led the troops, led the team, led the reform, and I'm here to say he's rocking the boat. So I'd like to bring up Assembly Speaker Robin Vos.
I think Sheriff Clark is the luckiest guy in the room tonight because he doesn't have to follow Vicki McKenna. She does a wonderful job for us in all of Wisconsin. Let's give her one more round of applause. You know, if you think about where we've been, it's really important to consider as we're going forward that things in Wisconsin really are heading in the right direction. Let me just take a quick minute to tell you a little bit about who I am, because in many ways, I think I reflect everybody who's in the room. Born and raised in Wisconsin. My parents own a small business. My grandparents own a small business. I grew up watching my dad leave early in the morning and come home after all of us had eaten dinner. I saw the hard work ethic that all of us know it takes to succeed. I saw grandparents who were involved in my life every day. They made sure that we did things well, but they were at our activities, but then at the same time, we had the personal responsibility to take ownership for our own lives. They made sure that when we went out, we were prepared for the world. Went to college at UW-Whitewater, right here in Wisconsin, had a great chance to become a college Republican, see where the world wanted to be, and I said to myself, I want to be one of those people who makes a difference. So I got a chance to go and work in the Capitol, because I have to admit, as a college Republican, I thought, how cool would it be to work in the same building when Tommy Thompson was the governor? So in 1990, I went to Madison, worked in the Capitol, and we were in the minority. Democrats were in charge. And I saw every single day how frustrating it is when you have a wonderful conservative governor, like Tommy Thompson was at the time, be stymied by things happening in the legislature. Good ideas, bottled up, never gotten a chance to succeed. Then America woke up in 1994, and it began to say, you know what, things can be different. Conservatives really were on the rise. Our beliefs had come to full fruition. We had a great time in Wisconsin. We had a Republican governor, we went back and forth, we had mostly a Republican legislature. We did wonderful reforms. It inspired me to go back, and I bought my own business. Right now I have about 20 employees, and I got to pursue the American dream. I got to see every day that hard work and perseverance means you get to give more hard work and perseverance. Because that's what it means to own a small business. It doesn't mean that you take the money in a wheelbarrow to the bank every day, but it means that you're given a golden opportunity to be successful. After a while, I served on the county board because I wanted to give back. And in 2004, my seat opened up, and I ran for the legislature. I got elected, and I tell you, I went to Madison bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, thinking that I would be able to make that same difference that every legislator in here thinks about, and that candidates who are running for the first time want to participate in. But I met a guy named Jim Doyle, and every good idea that we had, every possible way to grow our economy, seemed to run into this big roadblock in the East Wing. His ideas dead set against what I believed in. If there was a program, he wanted to expand it. If there was a tax, he didn't think it was high enough, and if there was a regulation, he didn't think the bureaucrats had enough power. And we had a tough time in Wisconsin. 2006 came along, my first re-election, and Republicans lost the state Senate, and we re-elected Governor Doyle. Times weren't good. And we went through 2008. You know what happened? The world fell out from underneath conservatives, right? Barack Obama got elected. The Congress turned the wrong direction. The state legislature went in the totally wrong direction. And I sat next to the former speaker on the floor of the state assembly the day that Jim Doyle gave his inaugural address. And I said to him, I don't know if I can put up with this crap. Because everything that he believed in was what we thought was wrong. And he said to me, Robin, you need to have a little more faith in the people of America and the people of Wisconsin. He said, when they're given an opportunity to see what it looks like with liberals in charge of everything, the American people will run back to us in droves. And I gotta tell you, I sat next to him and I looked at him and I said, my God, you are a spinmeister. But he was right. And 2010 came along, and by God, we have people in office that I have never been so proud to serve with. My first campaign when I was 10 years old, and I'll tell you, all the people that I have worked for, of all the people that I have campaigned for, seeing Governor Walker get inaugurated with a conservative legislature in Madison made my heart fill with pride, and I once again realized that we are on the ascendancy in Wisconsin. Then, about a month later, after being named the chair of the Finance Committee, he said, you know, we're going to do a little thing. It wasn't called Act 10 at the time. It was called, we're going to do some labor reforms. It might be a little controversial. But we put this whole plan together to get it done in 5 days so we could kind of do this blitzkrieg attack. It didn't work. Obviously, you all know we went through a tough time. But I'll promise you, and every legislator who's in the room, I know they will say the same thing, that out of all the votes we've had, out of all the votes that we will probably ever take, the proudest time was when I got to take those ideas that I ran for office on and campaigned on my whole life and actually make them a reality to show the rest of the country and a whole lot of people around the world that if you want to look for people who are willing to take hard votes, do things the right way, stand up for their principles, they are born, raised, and bred right here in Wisconsin. That's a good applause. So as we look to the future, one of the things that I want to make sure that I do is to say thank you. Running for office is one of those jobs that seems kind of like it isn't a big deal until you actually put your name on the ballot. I have been involved in campaigns for over 20 years. I got to tell you, I thought I kind of knew what I was doing until I ran the very first time. And you quickly realize that all the people in this room are so much more valuable than you will ever realize. Running for office is tough. It's backbreaking in many ways. You have to be self-motivated, you have to get up every day, you have to beg your friends for money. Then you have to go and you ask them again for money, and you know what you do after that? You ask them again for money, and then when you're done, you ask them again for money. That's kind of what we have to do. Some people can give, but other people can give in a different way. They give by walking door to door. They give by posting on Facebook so that all of their friends know where they stand. They give back by coming to events like this one tonight to say that I'll stand with Republicans, I'll stand with conservatives because I know you're going to deliver. So one quick story and then I'll turn it over to Sheriff Clark. Most of you have no idea the bills that Republicans vote on in Madison. I mean, Vicki, McKenna, and Talk Radio does a great job of holding us accountable, and they should. But the vast majority of decisions that we make are ones that you have to trust that the people that you know, that you work for, and that you elect do the right things. So this week, Governor Walker and Republican leaders met, and we sat down with the budget director and they talked about how we had extra money in Madison because our revenues are coming in better than expected. Amazon.com is bringing 1,000 jobs to Wisconsin. It's great for our state, it's great for our region, and actually it's great for our budget. The fact that Amazon.com is coming is going to mean about $20 to $50 million per year in additional revenue. Now, let me tell you, politicians are given two choices when extra money comes into town. Let me ask you a question. When Jim Doyle and the Democrats found out there was new money, what do you think they did with it? They spent every nickel plus. But when Republicans found out new money was coming into town, and let me promise you, there are thousands of people who would like us to spend that money on their pet programs. They are descending on the Capitol on a regular basis. When I served on the Finance Committee, we actually kept track of it. We had almost 1,000 people ask us for more money, and about half a dozen ask us for less. It's about the right proportion, I think most people would think. But when we're making those decisions, when you're at home, living with your families, working your jobs, you trust that people make the right choice. So that's why this week, instead of saying we're going to give in to all the people who want more money, Republicans in Madison said we're going to get the biggest possible reduction in property taxes that we can while still keeping money in the rainy day fund, still preparing for a rainy day, and also at the same time having a balanced budget. So all the work that you put in, all the time that you make to be here tonight, thank you. because every single day it makes a difference in ways that you'll hear about on talk radio, but in thousands of other ways that you don't, because the right people are in Madison, they're standing up for you, and that all goes back because you stand with us. Thanks very much for being here tonight.